Where does your journey end? You seek that which would bestow upon you the right to rule. A quest to reclaim a homeland and slay a dragon.
Do not think I won't kill you, dwarf.
When did we allow evil to become stronger than us?
It is not our fight.
It is our fight.
What if it's a trap?
It's undoubtedly a trap.
Such is the nature of evil. In time, all foul things come forth.
If you awaken that beast, you will destroy us all.
Was that an earthquake?
That, my lad, was a dragon.
Dragons, man. I mean, that's... If you are going to sell your movie on anything, that scene was probably it. But, welcome to Time About the Movies, everybody. Kind of not doing an intro because it's still Christmas Day, technically, and I was making rather merry today. So we're going to run through this pretty quickly. But we do have 4 big new movies to talk about for December 13th, 2013. None bigger than our first movie here, The Hobbit, The Desolation of Smaug, which is the second film in Peter Jackson's The Hobbit trilogy, which is, of course, the prequel to the Lord of the Rings series. And in this one, Bilbo Baggins, once again played by Martin Freeman, is continuing to accompany Thorin Oakenshield and his fellow dwarves on a quest to reclaim the Lonely Mountain from the dragon Smaug, who we meet in this movie played by Benedict Cumberbatch. Pursuing them are the vengeful orcs Azog the Defiler and his son Bolg, while Gandalf the Grey investigates the return of a long-forgotten evil force in the ruins of Dol Guldur. The ensemble cast includes the return of Ian McKellen, you have Richard Armitage, Benedict Cumberbatch, as I mentioned, Evangeline Lilly makes her first appearance in this, Lee Pace, Luke Evans, Ken Stott, James Nesbitt, Orlando Bloom. So overall, yeah, a continuation of the story from the last film, and I like the last film a lot, but it's nothing really memorable. This was the first one I ever saw in a theater of any Lord of the Rings movies in general. This was the first one I saw in theaters, and seeing it in theaters, it was a really good experience overall. And it definitely is a much better, more competently made film than the first movie is. I think they deliver more on the action, they expand more on the story in general. There's a lot more great moments of action sequences, better character development, and that sense that something really big was coming. And when we get to see the dragon himself, Smaug, in the movie, it's pretty awesome. I mean, they did a fantastic job making this dragon look not only realistic, but also fucking terrifying at times. I mean, Benedict Cumberbatch puts his all into this performance overall. He's really the strongest part of this movie. And, and it leads to an ending where you think it's going to be a bigger deal in the last movie. It ends on a cliffhanger. Smaug has come out of his little castle of gold and is about to attack the town, and you're thinking to yourself, oh shit, this is going to be a big, epic battle in the final movie. I mean, I can't wait to see how this turns out. Let's just say, prepare to be somewhat disappointed by the end result of that. But despite that, before we get to that film, of course, this is a really good film. Like I said, it's a terrific film. I think the film does a very good job of expanding the story from the previous film. It's showing the potential of what these Hobbit movies were capable of doing, and I think this one did a fantastic job at it. It was the one that got me hooked into the Lord of the Rings series, starting with this film. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a very good film overall. Definitely a lot better than the first movie, An Unexpected Journey, but I digress. So with all that said, let's go ahead and move on to another sequel that was coming out on this weekend that I know a lot of people were looking forward to. Come on, don't be shy. You know you were looking forward to a Madea Christmas.
The season for giving and loving.
What you want?
I want a stocking full of candy.
How about I give you a stocking full of Jenny Craig? Like, get the hell out of here.
I'm looking for lingerie.
Lingerie is for young people with tight, firm stuff. You don't want to walk around with a slingshot up your butt.
Well, Miss Madea, did you hear the one about the two rabbis and the black dude?
Did you hear the one about the stray bullet that killed the redneck for telling the story about the two rabbis and the black dude?
A Madea Christmas. Rated PG-13, December 13th.
Obviously, I'm kidding. I mean, let's put it this way. If Larry the Cable Guy is the best thing about your movie, then you know you made something really terrible. Plus, not to mention, what do we always say about Christmas movies that come out after Thanksgiving? 9 times out of 10, that means the studios don't believe in it, they want it to die, and yeah, this movie did not do as well as they think they wanted it to do. But it still did decent business overall. But in this film, it tells the story of Madea going to the fictional town of Bucktussle, Alabama, with her great niece to spend Christmas with her great niece's daughter as financial troubles involving a newly constructed dam that threatens the town. In other words, there's not really a whole lot of a story here. It's nothing but Madea doing these side projects overall, and just these sketches in general, where the cast it also includes Kathleen and Jimmy, Chad Michael Murray, Anna Maria Horsford, Tika Sumpter, Alicia Witt, Lisa Wetchell, and as I mentioned, Larry the Cable Guy. It's nothing that amazing, and not even that funny overall. I mean, I guess you could say it's not a bad movie. I mean, I saw Medea's Witness Protection. That was terrible. This is just... It's just empty calories, really. I would say it's the equivalent to Ernest Saves Christmas, but at least Ernest Saves Christmas has a plot going on that you follow, and is mixed in with the sketches. This is like that, except the plot's been taken out, and it's just the sketches, and the sketches that are in here are not really all that funny. The whole thing with Madea, being a Santa Claus, and she is a bad mall Santa. I mean, it's not like we haven't seen that done before in a movie literally called Bad Santa or A Christmas Story, which coincidentally came out 10 and 20 years before this movie. Is 10 and 30 years before when this movie around the time this movie came out. It's so bad I can't even talk straight. But yeah, this movie isn't that good. I mean, there's nothing you can really say about this film that really isn't anything entertaining whatsoever. I mean, I guess for Medea's fan base, it's good for them, but I mean, I don't know, man. This just didn't work for me. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just because I'm not the target audience, but I don't even think the target audience would really get a kick out of this movie overall. At least that's my take on it. But so yeah, that is a Madea Christmas. So let's go ahead and move on to our next movie. It's David O. Russell's follow-up to the Silver Linings Playbook and The Fighter, with a couple of stars from both of those movies, American Hustle.
We were the best.
Is this legit?
Let's just say, it's missing from Spain.
Those people, those corrupt people, I'm going after them. Irving, you're the best at what you do in the whole country. I want you to teach me everything you know. But if you run, then your life's over.
This is where the politicians and the mafia in a second.
You are taking us to a very dangerous place.
What are those the guys that you guys are scared of? They look like the perfect people to buy me a drink.
American Hustle. Select theaters December 13th.
So in American Hustle, it takes place in the 1970s and early 1980s and features Christian Bale and Amy Adams as two con artists who are forced by an FBI agent, played by Bradley Cooper, to set up an elaborate sting operation on a corrupt politician, including the mayor of Camden, New Jersey, played by Jeremy Renner. Jennifer Lawrence plays the unpredictable wife of Bale's character, and you also have Robert De Niro showing up in the movie as well. So like I said, it's a ton of people in this movie that were in David O. Russell's previous two movies, which were more successful, and at least in this person's opinion, more enjoyable and much better than this movie here. It's not that this movie is bad. The cast, I think, is the best part of this movie. Bradley Cooper is great in this movie, elevating himself from just being the typical douchebag boyfriend in Wedding Crashers to being somebody who would later become one of our great actors working right now. Amy Adams is really good in here. Christian Bale is really solid. Jeremy Renner is, Robert De Niro gives a really solid performance in here. It's a cameo, but, you think in the trailer that he's in there, he's going to have a bigger role here, but he's only in here for about a couple of minutes in general here. But if there's two highlight performances in this that I think are really good, Louis C.K. is really good as Bradley Cooper's boss. Now, this was back before Louis C.K. became part of the Me Too movement and all that, but, it was a performance that really did show Louis C.K. can range his acting abilities from not just doing these comedic roles in general, but doing something more straightforward like a dramatic performance, and he makes it work very well. And the other great performance in this is, once again, Jennifer Lawrence. I mean, it's a movie where she really does make it work. I mean, she She gives another solid performance where she does what she needs to do. I mean, she just lets go and just gives this amazing performance that's right up there with some of the best performances of the year. The biggest fault of the movie is that this is one of the most confusing stories that has ever been put to film. If the story for American Hustle had been more simpler to understand, this would have been just as good as Silver Linings Playbook, but it sadly is not. And it's one of those scripts that just goes all over the place, and it doesn't know where it wants to go when it's all said and done. I don't really know if it's him or if it's just the other writer, Eric Warren Singer, who previously had written The International, which also suffered from a lot of the same problems. A confusing storyline despite two solid actors in that film making it work. There's so much that goes on in this movie that you can't enjoy the film because they keep throwing in these pointless subplots and pointless things that have no purpose to the film whatsoever, but they feel like is more important than anything else in the film, and it just isn't. One of the other baffling things about the script is that they forget that things happen in the film before. Like, there's a scene towards the end where Bradley Cooper finds out that Amy Adams, who's been using an English accent and is upset when early on in the film when they share scenes, there was clearly a scene where Cooper was talking to Adams in a regular American accent. It's just like, how do you miss that when you're watching this movie or putting this movie together, oh Russell? And it just goes all over the place towards the end. It has no real idea where it's supposed to go, what it's the lesson we're supposed to take away from this movie, and I just don't get it whatsoever. Like, the movie isn't bad, it's a movie where the script is just such a disaster. It has no idea what the direction is overall, what is supposed to be the end game of this, but the performances do carry it to the point where I would say it's definitely worth a watch. But if you're going in there looking for another Silver Linings Playbook or The Fighter, one of David O. Russell's best, prepare to be mildly disappointed by it. I mean, I like it, but it's a disappointment overall. So with that said, let's go ahead and move on to our last movie that we have here. Tom Hanks and Emma Thompson in Disney's Saving Mr. Banks.
Disney.
Oh, Walt, now you gotta call me Walt.
Behind the magic.
I was just a kid from Missouri with a sketch of Mickey.
Behind the movies.
I am gonna do things with you Mary Poppins that are revolutionary.
Was the man who created it all.
Welcome to the Magic Kingdom.
Is it all like this?
Yep, isn't it wonderful?
This December, critics are calling Tom Hanks simply sensational.
Wow, there he is.
Yeah!
In one of the year's best films.
That'll work.
Saving Mr. Banks. Rated PG-13 in select cities December 13th.
In a year where there was a movie set in Disney World that was set as a horror movie with Escape from Tomorrow, you get a movie like this that I honestly didn't think Disney would ever do because it just doesn't feel like the type of film Disney would make. But lo and behold, Saving Mr. Banks is definitely one of those films. Tom Hanks plays Walt Disney, and when his daughters beg him to make a movie off their favorite book, Mary Poppins, he makes them a promise, one that he didn't realize that would take 20 years to keep. In order to obtain the rights, Walt comes up against a curmudgeonly, uncompromising writer who has absolutely no intentions of letting her beloved magical nanny get mauled by the Hollywood machine. That is, of course, P.L. Travers, played by Emma Thompson. But as the book stops selling and money goes short, Travers maliciously agrees to go to L.A. to hear Disney's plans for the adaptation. For the 2 short weeks in 1961, Disney pulls out all the stops. Armed with imaginative storyboards and chirpy songs from the talented Sherman Brothers, Walt launches an all-out onslaught on P.L. Travers, but the prickly author doesn't budge. He soon begins to watch helplessly as Travers becomes increasingly immovable, and the rights begin to move further away from his grasp. It is only when he reaches into his own childhood that Walt discovers the truth about the ghosts that haunt her, and together they set Mary Poppins free to ultimately make one of the most endearing films in cinematic history. And like I said, this is a movie that I didn't think Disney would be ever to make, because I didn't even think they would even allow the story to be told in one of these, because, what they ended up letting them do in the film itself, and you know what? I give a lot of credit for them to doing that, because it's a movie where it shows the flaws of Disney back in the day. He spends 20 years trying to get this movie Mary Poppins made, and and he's doing everything he can to show her, this writer what they can do with her material overall. And it's a very fascinating film to watch overall. I think Tom Hanks really does give a really solid performance as Walt Disney. I mean, this is the guy that in this decade is going to play Walt Disney, Sully Sullenberg, Mr. Rogers, and Captain Phillips. I mean, talk about a great decade for Hanks in general here. And Emma Thompson gives probably her best overall performance I've ever seen her in since Howard's End. I mean, this is a really damn good performance by her. But it's Emma Thompson. Emma Thompson usually does not sleepwalk a role, even if it's not a good film. She usually carries the load overall, but I like the story overall. I think it's engaging and exciting, and it's bold for Disney, letting the audience see the behind the scenes of what it takes to make a classic like this. You know, going through the trials and tribulations and doing stuff that you wouldn't see on Disneyland back in the 1950s on television. I mean, this is really good stuff overall, and it's directed by John Lee Hancock, this first film he did since The Blind Side, and proves that he's a solid director overall. And like I said, the drama is nicely done. The acting is great all across the board. It never feels like it's trying to go for that Oscar bait approach that this film could have easily gone down. It's a really enjoyable movie. It's a film that Disney takes a lot of chances on it overall. I didn't think they could make a movie like this because they would probably play it safe, but it doesn't do that. It's actually a bold, daring film from Disney overall, and I think it's one that definitely deserves to be seen. It's a really great film. I really enjoyed it. I can't recommend it enough. See Saving Mr. Banks. It's one of Disney's best films of the last in the last 15 years. So with that said, we wrap up another episode of Time About the Movies as we come to next week, the penultimate weekend of 2013, December 20th, where we have a sequel that a lot of people didn't think they were asking for a long time, but lo and behold, after 9 years, Anchorman 2, The Legend Continues comes out. We have Walking with Dinosaurs 3D, which could have been a great movie if Fox didn't butcher it by basically plopping in a bunch of celebrity voiceovers. And yeah, those celebrity voiceovers really destroy the film. We'll touch on that. We'll take a look at Spike Jonze's latest film, Her, with Joaquin Phoenix. And I believe that's it. It's just those 3 films. So, 3 films to take a look at on this second to last weekend of the year. We'll take a look at them tomorrow on the show. With all that said, though, thank you so much for watching this. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please go ahead and do me the honors of hitting that like button, that subscribe button, and that notification button. Also, don't forget to check out our playlist, and don't forget to check out the previous episode we did. So with all that said, whether it's in the past, the present, or the future, I will see you at the movies. Take care.